And I am live, and today is 27th of July 2025, and I didn't stream yesterday. I am streaming today, but even today it is late. I should have streamed sooner, which is bad. Which is bad. This is bad. I should not have done this. I got distracted and I didn't stream. This is bad, and I'm setting a target for myself, and the target is that on 1st of January 2026, my rating will be at least 2000. I want to get a rating of 2000 by the end of this year. On 1st January 2026, my rating will be 2000. That is my goal, and let's stream. Simply begin, or simply lovely, as someone would say. CB31, and today is also a contest 1039, and it will be cool. I want to solve at least 3 questions in today's contest, and my target would be to solve them in at max 40 minutes. 40 minutes, I think, is reasonable. Mm, Less than 5 minutes for the first question, then less than in total 10 minutes for the second question, and then the remaining time for the third question. You are now this, and I will also like to time myself. Hey, let me set up my environment. CP. Okay, and I am in the right folder, I guess. Yep, now I am. Let me update everything. Cool, and begin. You are given an array A of consisting of n positive integers. You have to choose a positive integer D and paint all the elements into numbers. Okay, shit, I did. Yeah, I did this one. I did this. Wait. Time limit exceeded for this one. Wait. Yeah, time limit exceeded for this one. The question was, and paint all the elements in two colors. All elements which are divisible by D will be painted in one color, and all the other elements in other color. And I was using the standard GCD function to find the GCD of alternative elements, and at the end it would give me two GCDs, and it is given that it might not be possible in some cases, and in which I have to output 0, but when it is, I have to output that number. So after finding the GCDs, I started a loop from 1, from 2, which can be the lowest answer. 1 cannot be the answer because 1 would divide every number, and so not cool. So I start iterating from 2 till the minimum, till the maximum of the two GCDs. And yeah, so I guess some number theory thing would work here instead of running a loop, and I would look into that later. For now, I have to begin with the next question. Calendrome, kaleidoscope. So let me restart the stop watch. Let's see. An array B1 to Bm is a palindrome if bi equals bm plus I minus 1, the other element for I. Empty array is also a palindrome, and array is called palindrome if the following conditions hold. It is possible to select some integer x and delete some of the elements of the array equal to x, so that the remaining array, after gluing together the remaining parts, is a palindrome. Note that you don't have to delete all the elements equal to x, and you don't have to delete at least one element equal to x. Well, to select some integer and delete some of the elements of the array, some of the element. Note that you don't have to delete all the elements equal to x, and you don't have to delete at least one. You don't have to delete at least one element equal to x. For example, this is a palindrome because you can simply not delete a single element. This is a palindrome because you can choose okay and make it equal to a palindrome. Okay, so could here I could choose 3 and remove both of the threes. Delete 3 obtaining this, which is a palindrome. And this is not a palindrome. I cannot choose any number. You are given an array. This determine if A is a palindrome or not. Okay, which means I can remove one number. Okay. The whole array has to be a palindrome. So I can start an iterator from the start and from the end, and I can choose only one number at a time equal to x. Uh, Following condition holds. It is possible to select some integer x and delete some of the elements. Uh, okay. I can start iterating from the end or from the start, from the middle or from the start. And if it is not possible, then I output no. It is no in this case. it is it can be equal to 4 in this case. I could remove all the occurrences of 4, or I could remove all the occurrences of 1. Here it could be 1 or 2, any number. Here it would be anything. Okay, I think I got this. And N C N N V I A and uh, and then equals 0 till I less than n by 2 and I plus plus. And after that, I have to see the first element and the last element. Okay, and F comma S, and let's make this all the elements are positive. Yeah, all the numbers are positive. Okay, and they are between 1 and n. So equals -1 equals -1, and if ai, the first element, not equal to a n minus 1 minus I, then I see if S and F, I could return any of S or F, right? Yeah, that no, I don't have to return any. If F not equal to -1, yeah, if not equal to minus int ms mismatch. If ms not equal to -1, I would need both of them. Let me be precise. If s also equals -1, if f not equal to -1, uh, if it is equal to -1, equals minus 1, then f equals ai and s equals a a n minus 1 minus I, else break, and um, bool possible equals true, and p equals false. Later, if p, then c out yes, and else c out no, and if it is one, then make them equal to this, and right. If they do not match, then I have to see if they are this, then this. Else, yeah, and else I have to see if they do not match the first and the second. Then if AI AI no, still at least one of them has to be int ff equals minus 1. And so when I see a disagreement, I know that I have to remove either F or S. Then next time when I see a disagreement in like mismatch in numbers, then I have to see if they are the same numbers or not. And if they are not, then I have to choose one of F or S. I have to choose one, right? I have to choose one. Maybe even not this. If I see this F equals AI and S equals A A I a n minus 1 minus I, and also break. And now I have to check if they are palindrome. If I do not have F and S in in my array, so check for palindrome for int I equals 0, I less than n divided by 2, and I plus plus. And if AI not equal to, if AI equals F, or AI, wait, while AI equals F, or AI equals S I plus plus. So after this, I know that this is not there. Okay, and L also n minus 1, and this type of loop will not work. Right, and int I equals 0. So I do this, find the latest, uh, no, yeah, while L greater than I, and then while a L equals to f, or a l equals s l minus minus. After that, I also have p, right? Yes, I also have p. So after this, if ai not equal to a l, and also if I lower than l, and they are not equal, then break and p equals false. Wrong answer. I say yes for this one, even though I should say no. I start here. Okay, 1 and 3, that is cool, but I cannot remove two numbers. I have to remove one number. Yes, makes sense. I cannot remove one number, two numbers. Okay. Okay, so once I check by removing one, and the next time I check by removing the next number, which means f, and this, and if still possible, then go through this again. But this time with, instead of f, go with s. Right. Or you might just keep on going while l is lower than this, and okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, at the end I have to do I plus plus and l minus minus, and same thing in the lower loop. I correct answer. Am I doing the right thing? Yes, I think I am doing the right thing. 13 minutes, 14 minutes. I think that is good enough, but I want to get this right in the first try. So wait, is my stream? Yeah, stream is cool and visible. That is cool. Chat disconnected, unable to connect to chat. Okay, is this correct? Yeah, first time. Okay, yeah, this seems correct. And I will also try to explain the question afterwards. Explain my solution afterwards. Okay, it gave wrong answer for the 51st token in problem number 2, which has this many questions. And t equals pt, and after taking the input here, if t equals what, this thing, then if t minus tt equals 51, then c out n space, and not a space, a new line, and then for auto x a c out, see out new line and else all of this till this. It is working for the base case, and let's go there. 16 minutes. And today is also a contest, so that is cool. A lot of wrong answers here. For this, this should have worked. Okay. I'm checking that it has to pass both, but it doesn't. Okay. While this, again, remove all of that. Undo tree. Let's go. Um, this thing, and P1. At least one of them has to be correct, right? P1, and if not P1, if not, if not P1. If P1 is false, only then check, can I do it this way? P2 equals true and uh, P2 false, and if P1, if P1 or P2, then do this and CD plan plus what is the name? B slide on Chrome or whatever dot slash out one test case which has four things, 1 2 1 3, and should output yes, and it does. And I think, yeah, I think this will work. I'm finding the two elements which, and either one of them has to be changed, and yep, 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 accepted. Cool. 19 minutes. 19 minutes. And in this thing, I used two facts. First of all, that if you have a palindrome, let's say x1, x2, x3, x2, x1. If you have a palindrome like this, or this is a bad example of a palindrome. If you have a palindrome A, B, C, B, A, if you have something like this, then I can take any one of these elements and remove them like completely, and it would still be a palindrome. So that is cool, and that is one thing that I used. And then let's say I added some random elements in this thing like this, and here I have to remove this A, right? This A is causing a bit of problem, because when I first check from start checking from the end, when A and A match, and then I check these two and they do not match. So I know for a fact that if I want to make this a palindrome, then I have to remove either A or B, and that is exactly what I do. I first check if this thing is a palindrome. Once I remove all the A's from the whole thing, and then I check, is this thing a palindrome? Once I remove all the B's from the string, and if it is a palindrome in either one of those cases, then it can be a palindrome and we out yes, otherwise we output no. So this one was cool, and I can go to the next one. Stopwatch. Let's go. Yet another card deck. You have a card deck of n cards numbered from top to bottom. That is, the top card has index I and bottom card has index n. Each card has its color. The ith card has the color AI. You should process Q queries. The jth query is described by integer tj. For each query, you should find the highest card in the deck with color tj, that is the card with the minimum index, that is the highest. Print the position of the card you found. Take the card and place it on top of the deck. Okay, I already have a deck and I have Q queries, J queries, AI is the color. So I either, if query is high, I do not want it to go again and again. So, okay, this is something, yeah, this is something related to a question that I did earlier. The second line contains n integers, a1 to an, okay, and q and n. N is the size of an and q is the size of the queries, okay, and they are not greater than 50. This should be a hint. Value of the color cannot be greater than 20, cannot be greater than 50. That should be a hint. N is big, number of queries is big, but the color themselves are not big. I can store how many cards I have. I'm thinking about sorting the whole thing. Yes, I can do this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The answer would be 50q. Q 50. Yeah, and it would take me a constant time at max. No, it would exactly take me a constant time. Okay, yes, yes, yes. I got this one. Boilerplate 23 int n q cnn q, and then after that vi vector. No, I do not want a vector like that. I would like to have a vector. Uh, um, can I have something like this? A vector of integers, a 50 of those, and size of each individual vector would be. Uh, so this is fine. This is fine. And then when I am taking input for int I equals 0, for int I equals 0, I less than less than n and I plus plus. Whenever I see j, I add the index at top, right? And for that, I can do replace this with 1. Make the index 1, and yeah, so just go a. Let's make this 51, and index is that colors are from that. Okay, okay, index, and okay, this should be cool. Then see the current number, C and C, and A C dot PB pushback what I, right. Then VI of queries of size Q for auto reference X Q scene X. Okay, maybe uh, right after this for int I equals 0, I less than Q, I plus plus for everybody I have, and put it at the top of the stack. Okay, so take print the first position of the card you find the highest card in the deck with color TJ, that is the card with the minimum index. Print the position of the card you find, take the card and place it on top, which changes the position of every other card just by 1. So no big deal. Yeah, no big deal, no big deal. Changes the position of every other card. Yes, every other card. Now for every query, I don't have to I don't have to do, actually I don't have to do this. Uh, for and I equals 0, I less than Q, I plus plus. Let's say C is the current query. Then for this, I find the highest card with Q and C out Q, C out A C, C out AC, C is the card, and dot, the highest element is 0, right? Highest element C 0, and now to make this the top of the card, the top of the deck, I change its index C 0 equals 1. Right, and not just this, I have to plus I to this thing, segmentation fault, or Y. Or wrong answer. I have to give a bit of space after this, and again see out new line. Wait, the format is messed up. Shit. Okay, in everything. This is it. Okay. Okay. Wrong answer. 2, 3, 1, and 5. Their index does change except if they are in the same card. Yes, yes, except they are from the same stack. Except, okay, okay, okay. So this plus I think this only works for the card who were above AC. So this much is good for fetching, but not for much else. How do I increase the size of all the cards? Okay, how do I increase the index of all the cards above this one? Mm. This part about take the card and place it on top of the deck. And I do not think that simulating this whole thing will work. That would take a bit of time. Evening, bro. Yeah, I streamed too late today. My bad. Take the card and place it on top of the deck. Okay. Take the card and place it on top of the deck. Okay. And I know for a fact that this fetching method is cool. This fetching method is amazing. This is the most optimal one. But updating this, how do I update the queries in constant time? How do I update the indexes? No, I do not want to do something no about iterating. No. The number of queries is also high. But this is 50. This is 50, which has allowed me to make a smaller array, and I can fetch the fastest card, the card from the top. But only the cards who are above. Okay, the problem is this. I have a deck of cards. A deck of cards. Like I have a deck of cards. There are a lot of cards in this thing, and then basically without like by abstraction, the problem is this. I choose one deck, one, and they have different colors. Okay, say starting from 1 to 50, they have some colors, some colors. Everyone has a color, and then in my query, I am given a color. Let's say 5, and then I find from the top the first card to have that color. So let's say I find this card, this has the same color as my query. So I print out its index. Let's say index for this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Index for this thing is 6. So my output is 6. But after that, I have to take this and put it at top. which means that the new index for this card which has 5 is 1, and index for all of these cards have changed. They have increased by 1, but only for the cards that were above the card that I moved, and for all the cards that were below, nothing is changed. So how do I keep track of this changing index? That is the thing. And for every query, I do not want to iterate and go through all the cards above a card and change their index. That would not be cool. That, wait, since I'm always taking the top, let's say this, and instead of this, I do vector A of size 51 from 1 to 50. So of size 51, everything initially is 0. Let's say I initialize that at -1, and if a c equals -1, then a c equals I. That is the top of for the ci colors, for the c color. And then when getting queries, I go through this thing. So 50q would still be the thing. So, go through, and now I know exactly where that is. Okay, and then I can do C out A C with a space, and then for auto reference X in A, if X lower than AC, if X lower than AC, then A then X plus plus, and also after this AC equals 1, since it is now at the top. Correct answer 52315. And can this break and this break at any point? -1. I am taking the top, and then while taking the queries, I take and C has the top, and I go through. Okay, and I think I will not even get any time error for this thing. I should not get any time limit exceeded error for this one. Yeah, cool. Running. Mhm. 18 minutes, 18.5. That is fine. That is fine currently. And now I have done both of these questions which were remaining. And at this level, there are only 2 questions remaining: collecting games and paint the array, in which I have to optimize my solution. But first of all, let me read the tutorial for both of these. For this, Kaleido. Yeah, my approach I think is the best. And for an integer x, we can determine whether or not it is possible to make the array palindrome by removing sum of the elements equal to x. We claim that it is possible if if and only if removing all appearances of x makes the array palindrome. Imagine we made the array palindrome by removing some of the elements equal to x. It is obvious that after removing the rest elements equal to x, the array still remains a palindrome. That is the fact that I used in my own solution. Read the hint and assumptions before reading this, which I have. If the array is already a palindrome, the answer is yes. Otherwise, let's find minimum I such that this does not match that. Now, we can prove that we have to remove either this or this in order to make the array palindrome. Imagine it is possible to make the array palindrome by removing all appearances of AI, or in this, imagine it's possible to make the array palindrome by removing all appearances of x, where x does not equal to this. Why would you remove appearances of x where x does not equal to these two? You have to remove x when x is equal to these two. The number of appearances of x before I of x before I is equal to the number of appearances of x after. So in order to make the array palindrome, ai must be equal to a this, and so we just have to check if the array will be palindrome after after removing all appearances of ai, or after removing all appearances of this. And yeah, cool. That is what I did in this question, and I got it correct. And this time, yeah, in my third try. Now, yet another deck. Let's see the tutorial for this thing. E Bled Dest is a nice man. Yet another deck. Let's look at one fixed color. When we search for a card of such color, we take the card with minimum index, and after we place it on the top of the deck, it remains the one with minimum index. Yeah, the card with the minimum index does not change. It is always is the card with the minimum index. It means that for each color we take and move the same card one for each color. In other words, we need to keep track of only k cards, where k is the number of colors which is less than 50. As a result, if position C is the position of a card of color C, then we simulate a query in the, yeah, we are simulating the query, and we can simulating does work because the number of cards is very low. So for each color C, where PC is less than position target is J, we increase PC by 1. Yeah, we increase PC by 1 since the card will move down, and set POS equal to 1. Time complexity n n plus q qk, because for every query you have to go through all the cards, and in worst case, and n because you are first of all taking the top card for every color. But if we look closely, we may note that we don't even need array for C. We can almost manually find the first card of color T and move it to the first position, either by series of swap or, for example, using a rotate function, and it will work fast. Why? Let's look at one color C. For the first time, it will cost O of n operations to search the corresponding card and move it to position 1. But after that, at any moment of time, the position of the card won't exceed k, since all cards before are pairwise different due to nature of queries. So all next move, the color C costs OK time. That is also cool. That is also cool. That is also cool. And so we have done that. And today is also a contest, which is cool. Yep, of course, today is a contest and I will be participating. And now for the rest, I do not just want to go to 1200 right now, which I will do tomorrow. I will do the review for today's contest. So for now, let me complete the remaining questions, which I have not done yet. Let's see how much time it takes. How many wrong submissions? Quite a bit of wrong submissions here. Let let me set my settings. It was at 1000 level. Yep, at 1000 level. 1000. Yep, and time start. Park Chanik is the chief of a village named Kuntien. On one night filled with lights, Park Chanik has a sudden and important announcement that needs to be notified to all of the residents of okay. First, Park Chanik shares this announcement directly to one or more residents with a cost of P each. After that, the residents can share announcement to other residents using a magical helmet shaped device. However, there is a cost for using the helmet shaped device for each eye. If the ith resident has got announcement at least once, either directly or from another, he she can share the announcement to at most AI other residents with a cost of BI for each share. If Park can also control how the residents share the information to other residents, what is the minimum cost for Park to notify all the residents of the Kunti about the announcement? So there is a cost for Park with the cost of P. P is given. Okay, what is the input type? N and P. P is the initial cost which I have to pay, and then these are the residents. AI and BIBN is the cost. So I would like to sort them depending on the cost. Okay, it is guaranteed. Okay, and I must have written some shitty code about this before. Yeah, I have written, but I'm going to remove that and start fresh. CN, and after that I will be getting residents, the number of people that they can share to, which I do not care about. So VIA side N for auto reference X A uh, CN X, and now I can do that, and VI B is the cost for I have this and another array of size of, let's say, I will call it XX, or like BS BI N and IOTA function, and all BI all BI. I also have to provide starting index, starting number with 0, and then sort BI all BI, and my function is this no this and A, and no, I won't be taking any input. I will just return. No, I will be taking int I and j, and return a b I lower than b j. Right, now it is sorted and I have the lowest cost here. Okay. And after that, that is sorted. How many people can Park Chanik tell about the thing? So if P, cost of Park Chanik, is lower, then the index B I 0, then C out. How many people do I have to tell to? All N residents. So N into P. Else, if that is not the case, then I first of all have to tell that one person and go on. Okay, int I equals 0 and int cost equals P for the first person, which is that first person, and while B I lower than P, what I will do is, and here let's do int rem equals n minus 1, while this and rem, that is what I will do okay, and I know that the current this and I has to be lower, I lower than n, I lower than n, and this, while these conditions are true, I will be increasing I and doing that. Okay, first of all, I have to add as many people from this as I can. So if rem, which it is, okay, now the current index is bi, and if a bracket bii lower than rem, then if this, then cost plus equals a bii, the number of people, into the cost, which is b bii. Okay, by increase the cost, and rem minus equals a bii I, yes, a bii I, yes, and decrease remainder, decrease the remaining number of people, increase the cost, and increase I, but later. Yeah, I will increase I anyway. Else, if that is not the case, then cost plus equals rem into b bi I. So when I come out of the loop, either I, yeah, and the number of, I am out of the number of people, or is less than P. Yeah, Parkchanik's cost is lower, or remainder is 0. Right. Rem equals 0. Now, after this, if this, then this, else this. Now, if rem, or like I don't even have to ask, cost plus equals rem into p. And see out cost. Oh, submit. 9 minutes. Hmm, let's see, but I want to get this correct, which I do. So 9 minutes is cool. And fuck, that is cool. I got this correct in first try in 9 minutes. And before the first time that I was trying to do this, I got this wrong. And my first submission came at 10:53 and my last was at 11:07, which is like 15 minutes. I only spent 15 minutes on this question. That is horrible. Yeah, that is cool. That is cool, which means I am improving. Cool. Hello. Helmets and nightlight. And now monsters. How many times I got this one correct? Wrong. I spent 30 minutes on this question from my first submission till my last submission, and I got a time limit exceeded error, which means I had to optimize this. And before moving on to the next one, I would like to read the editorial for this one. And okay, so two things I have to consider if I want to achieve a rating of 2000 by the end of this year. Then first of all, I will be reading the tutorials for all the questions that I do or am unable to do. And second of all, this thing, I have to see the tags. So okay, so this thing needed greedy and sorting so that I know which concepts are at play here. And in this question, sorting was there. I did sorting and I also did used a greedy algorithm. So, and I will only move on to the next question unless I know that I understand these tags which are here. So yeah, for this, two things, I have to read the tags and second, the tutorial for the thing. Helmets in the Night Sky tutorial. It was a Division 2 contest. Okay, by Erecto in 26 minutes. That is cool. I would like to watch that stream. I would actually like to watch that stream live. So I will be wrapping this up in 26 minutes at max because I would like to watch this stream by Ericto, whose real name is mm, whose real name is wait, I know his name, Kamil Bukowski. Kamil Debowski. Kamil Debowski, yeah. Debowski as in like Charles Bukowski. Kamil Debowski. So this is streamed by Kamil Debowski. I did give this contest and I was able to do only 3 questions. So I will be watching that stream in 26 minutes. And you guys would also better like to watch that stream instead of mine stream, instead of my stream. Now notice that since there are n residents, there must be n shares. There are two types of shares: a share directly by Pakchanik to a resident and a share by a resident to another resident. A share by a Pakchanik is unlimited while a share by a resident is limited by A1. So there are unlimited shares with the cost P, and for each I there are AI shares with cost BI. In the beginning, no residents are notified about the announcement, so Pakchanik must share once to some residents in the beginning. Yes, at least once. After that, since there are n-1 residents remaining, there must be n-1 shares. Theoretically, the lower bound of the minimum cost is the n-1 cheapest, including Parkchenix, turns out there is always a strategy to use the n-1 cheapest shares to notify all n residents after the first share by Parkchenix. The strategy is we share the announcement to the residents with the smallest values of BI first, using the fact that AI is greater than or at least equal to 1. So we go with the resident whose cost is the minimum and announce it to AI people, which is the maximum that we can get with BI cost, and then move on to the second smallest BI cost and the third smallest, and do that till either we run out of residents, which we won't run out of residents because there is at least one resident can always tell at least one resident, so we will never run out because we have n residents and n-1 residents to tell to. So okay, that is one thing. And either, so therefore either BI becomes greater than P is the cost when Parkchenek goes to tell someone. So we keep going with BI small B, and we will keep going with the resident with the smallest cost till till we tell all the resident, we announce to all the residents, or the cost BI smallest cost at that time becomes larger than P, in which case we will announce to all the remaining residents with the cost of P. And yeah, we do sorting to find the smallest B as fast as we can, and the time complexity of sorting is n log n, which is cool. And helmets in the night sky, I did that. And now monsters, which I guess would be the last question. Hello, how many years have you been doing programming, brother? I started programming in my first year. Right now, I am in my second year. So yeah, about more than a year, more than 1 year. Start. Mooncarp is playing yet another computer game, and yet again his character is killing some monsters. There are n monsters numbered from 1 to n, and ith of them is AI health points. Initially, Monocarp's character has an ability that deals key damage to the monster with the highest current health. If there are several of them, the one with the smallest index is chosen. Yeah, okay, if a monster's health becomes less than or equal to 0 after Monocarp uses his ability, then it dies. Monocarp uses his ability until all monsters die. Your task is to determine the order in which the monsters will die. That is very shit. Was I unable to do this? Time limit exceeded. Why did it exceed? This is very easy because this seems very easy. And 23 and 10. And what is the format? N, and K is the damage that he can deal. So yeah, why not? And then AI, VIA size N, and for auto X A in X, and not that and CNX and X remainder equals K, right? And then sort A, no, do not sort A, VIIIN and IOTA all II starting with 1, and so sort all II with a reference function which takes in two integers I and int j, and then return a I minus 1 lower than a j minus 1. What the heck? Yes. And then for auto x and I can just see out x or see out I 0 because I do not want a new line at the end. For int I equals 0, I less than n I plus 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 plus, and then see out a space and then I and then at the end a new line and fuck, wrong answer. Okay, that is wrong. Okay, because I'm starting at 1. The heck? Since I changed my remaps, so I have some problems at times making my shortcuts. I think this will work. This should work. Yeah, this should work. Running on test 2, and this will keep on running. I'm only doing sorting once. Wrong answer is very wrong. Shit. Wrong answer is very wrong. No, no, no. I didn't expect wrong answer. Expected 2, found 1 on 29th. Shit, 29th. Goes till 4 and 4, 8. Shit, I could either go and find 29th like this or 1, 1 and then K. Ah, shit. I would have to do that thing forgetting t equals pt, and then after getting all the input, if let me see, is there some error? I'm taking in n and then I'm taking in k and then I'm making this and x is a remain. If x is 0, if remainder is 0, then which one? If x is 0, then yeah, then this is fine. I can just do this. It will come out to be 0 if x is totally divisible by k. It will turn out to be 0, and I am starting the index counting with 1 and going till the end. For I there are n monsters that I have to kill, and reference I minus 1, j minus 1, because I is 1 index. I is like the values start with 1, right? And they go up till n, and then a space, then the value. This should have worked. So yeah, I would have to see what is wrong. If e equals what, 10,000 equals, yep, 10,000, and the test case was 29. Pt equals 10,000 if t minus pt equals 29. See out n a new line, except I also have K, and then for auto X A, C out X, and then C out, a new line, else, it should be working here, and it is working here. I don't know which test case I got the wrong answer for. So I have to do this thing. Running on test case 2, in which I will get a wrong answer for this, for 0, 0. My output is 0, 0. And why did I give? I should have returned 1, 2. Expected 2, found 1. For 0, 0. This is the question. Did I not take the input correctly? I took this. Okay, let me take the input in a different manner if things are like that, right? Yeah. Else, do this. If this, and also take the input. Uh, and 6. If this is the thing, then for int I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus, a I already took the input, right? Yeah, here I already took the input. So yeah, I can put this in an else. See out what is the problem with the see out. Okay, because of that, and else if this, and if that is not the case, I can remove this, paste the same thing here, not this thing, paste this thing here, and remove this line, simply, lovely. And now 0 is the remainder, right? Yep. This, okay, 1 if I get any number. So after 1 pass, this becomes 3, then this becomes 2, then this becomes 1. So why would 1, 2 be different if they have same value, if monster's health is same, smaller, and if several of them have the one with the smaller index is chosen. So okay. That was my original solution, I guess, except for this thing. And for that one thing, I have only thing I have to change is like this static sort. How to sort in place in C++. Sort method for in-place sorting found in algorithms header. Wait, I am sorting in place. The problem is not with that. Why would you and plus plus? What is the name of the problem? B monsters dot slash out. I have only one test case which has n equal to 2 and k equal to 1 and the values are 1 and 4. I see 1 and 2 which is correct, and to be honest nothing matters. Like here I could say any number 61 and 1, I would still see 1 and 2. So why are they saying that my solution is wrong? Monocarp's character has a ability. Okay, Monocarp uses his ability. Okay. If someone's health becomes less than or equal to 0 after Monocarp uses his ability, then it dies. Yeah, in this thing, it seems that the question is rigged. Yeah, one of the test case seems rigged, but it is not possible. Custom test. Ah, shit. It is not usually the case, right? More chances are that my solution is wrong. I was getting the correct answer on test case for my earlier inputs. Something was wrong with this one. Okay, I am in my 5th semester of BCA. I started learning DSA around 3 months ago through Geeks for Geeks. Right now, I am on sliding window problems. That is cool. You are already solving advanced problems in just a year. Can you share some advice or tips with me? Well, first of all, do not be afraid by a problems rating. That is one thing, and have the mentality that no matter how complex the thing is, you can understand it. Okay, like that is about mindset and about actually solving the problem. You can do different stuff, like I'm to get my knowledge about C++ better, to improve my knowledge about C++. I'm reading this book, the C++ programming language by the creator of C++, Bjorn Stroustrup. You can read this, even though this is long, but I know that if I keep reading a bit of it every day, then eventually in a few months I will complete this book, and that is cool. So keep reading stuff, and also this thing, Competitive Programmer's Handbook. This is also I'm reading. I'm also reading this, and this is also cool. You can read this, and that is cool. What distro are you using? Or is it a Mac? It is a Mac. And I got a wrong solution. Verdict wrong for 2100, something like that. For 21, it I'm getting 1 here multiple times. So participants output 1 1. Okay, at one point I do output 21, which is and it is before 21. So 1 2 3 4 5. The 5th when I start getting two outputs here. 5th to 1 and 1, 2, 3. This is K. Yeah, this is K. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For this one, I output 2, 1. Let's see if I do 1, 2, 1. Right, I said for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is K and 1, 2, 1, 2. I output 1, 2 instead of 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for this one, and of course in this one the output would be 2, 1. So no surprise there. And for this one again the output would be 2, 2, 1 for this one. Yeah. And for this one the output again would be 2, 1, and for this one the output would be 1, 2. But I am getting a wrong answer only for 29. Why is that? 29 wrong answer. Numbers differ. Expected 2, found 1 for 29, and for 29 the problem statement was the problem statement was not this. The problem statement, wait, shit, I might be starting with a monster of health 0. No, no, no. Hi, bro. Hi. 20 minutes already. And a simple question. 1, 4. Am I outputting the right thing? For 29, when t minus tt equals 29, then do this. Why? I don't get this one. And wait, I guess what is the time? There is also a stream by Erecto which I really want to watch, and it is going to start in 1 minute. So yeah, I guess I will be ending the stream here, and I was unable to do this one, which is a shame, but I really have to watch this stream by Recto because I gave this contest, this educational round, and I did 3 questions, and I want to understand how to do the third question, how to do the fourth question. I know how to do the first 3. I was able to do them, even though it took me more than an hour to do the third question, but yeah. I want to see how to do the fourth question. It is something about probability, and yeah, it would be cool to watch it live. And it would be my first Erecto stream which I am watching live. That is also cool. So for now, that would